This is a preview from my course, The Art of Visual Design, Elizabeth's version. Type hierarchy is one of the most important things we're going to cover in the course. If you understand type hierarchy, you'll be able to apply these principles to any design element and also bring it with you throughout the rest of the exercises that we do. And so I would highly recommend spending additional time here and making sure that you understand the fundamentals before moving on. Type hierarchy is basically visually organizing text based on its importance. And in this lesson, I'm going to cover a few different principles I like to follow when I'm creating a type hierarchy. The first one is create just enough contrast. Just enough is very subjective, and I'll walk through some examples of what just enough means in a little bit. But depending on how you create contrast, it kind of shows your visual style. So dramatic styles tend to have more visual contrast, and more minimal styles tend to have less visual contrast. In order to create contrast, you should change one axis at a time. And so this will help you assess if you're creating just enough contrast. Oftentimes, you'll only need to adjust 1 to 2 axes to create contrast between two levels of text. You're probably wondering what these axes are. Don't worry, we're going to go through them right now. This is what a body of text would look like with no styling whatsoever. On the left, you'll see the 4 axes we're going to explore today: size, weight, style, and color. There's technically one more, which is the typeface that you're using, but we're not going to cover that right now because I think it's important to understand how to make a type hierarchy using only these 4 elements first. So let's start with size. Notice how I created a hierarchy here by increasing the size of the chapter number and increasing the size of the heading here. There are a lot of different ways you can do this. So this is what no size looks like, no size change looks like. This is what a slightly larger size looks like. This is technically, I would say, enough hierarchy, but it's not as strong of contrast. Here's a lot of contrast, and here's a lot of contrast. And so it's really up to you how much contrast you want to use. Some designers like to stick to a smaller level contrast, others like to stick to a medium one. I'm more of a drama queen, so I really love using very dramatic contrast, but again, it highly depends on the context. The next one is weight. Weight is basically bolding the text or using any of the other weight options there are. Sometimes there are a lot of them. You could try semi-bold, you could try extra bold. There's a lot of options. Here I've bolded down the rabbit hole, and that's the only thing I've changed. Notice how things change as I try different types of bolding. I think this one is maybe a medium weight, so the contrast is really light. Personally, for my personal style, I prefer more contrast, and so I'd probably start with something like this. And then here's more contrast. And so it's really up to you how much contrast you want to use. These are all types of bolding contrast, and it's up to you to determine how much contrast you want to use within your style. Here is an example of using size and weight. This is probably the most common form of creating contrast. Typically, using size and weight for headings is the most common thing you'll see across products and web design. Next, we have color. Maybe you didn't notice a change. I'm going to toggle between these and see if you notice a change. So what I changed here is I changed the color of chapter 1 to a gray. When I say color, it doesn't necessarily mean I have to add a new hue or something really vibrant like a blue or a pink. Changing color can mean adding a grayscale element so that something recedes more into the background. So notice that when I add color, chapter 1 recedes a little bit into the background. The last one is style. I typically don't think you need to adjust style. Style is more of an optional element, I think, when you're adjusting a type hierarchy. And so I would typically recommend against it unless you're going for something that is hyper stylized. Here are some examples of what I mean when I say style. There's italics, there's underline, and then here we have all caps. More frequently, I'll see style used in a situation like this, where there is a contrasting element within the same sentence. So for example, in the first one, check out this article is a link, and there's an underline. Or I would love for you to read this really important thing, so I highlighted it. So sometimes people will use italics within a sentence to highlight an important part of it. And then finally, they can also use something like all caps to highlight a word or phrase within a sentence as well. So those are some options. When you're using style, it's more recommended to use it within a sentence. Rule number 3 is that don't forget about spacing. Spacing is a powerful tool. It's a really important tool for separating groups of text that are related or not related to each other. Take a look at this. I have not changed any of the spacing whatsoever, so everything kind of feels all mushed together. Here, what I did was I adjusted the line height. So you'll notice that I changed the line height of the heading so that it was shorter, and I adjusted the line height of the body text so it's taller. Next, I separated out the heading area from the chapter 1 area by adding a little space here. So this is a really effective way of creating separation between two areas of text. Next, I made a really micro adjustment where I decreased the space between chapter 1 and down the rabbit hole so that chapter 1 and down the rabbit hole would feel more connected with each other. And then here, I adjusted the space between the paragraphs so that there is more breathing room between the paragraphs. This is a purely stylistic choice. It's very, very, very small difference, and so it's really up to you how much you want to have between the paragraphs. For beginners, I recommend that for every project you choose one sans serif or a serif typeface that doesn't really have too much personality, and only use that typeface with a variety of weights and styles to create a type hierarchy. That's a really easy way to get started with typography, and also it adds some constraints that will make it easier for you to explore. And we're going to explore this concept in the following activity that is after this video. Here's a summary. So rule number 1, create just enough contrast. Rule number 2, make minimal changes by only adjusting one axis at a time. And 3, don't forget that spacing is a powerful tool. If you're interested in more lessons like this and want to improve your visual design skills, visit artofvisualdesign.com.